Hi.
You are?
Yeah. I was in the hot seat exactly a year ago. Like tomorrow will be a year. And so much has changed. I chilled out. I am experiencing more joy than I've ever experienced in my whole life, and I'm so grateful. And I've been seeing into my vortex and getting these glimpses, and things are manifesting as well. And it's intoxicating. I want more of it. And my question is...
We like it when you are paying attention to your vibration enough that you know that you're in vibrational proximity to what's in the vortex, so that you can have those glimpses, because that's extra satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah.
So your question is?
So I have those experiences, and I get the impulses, and I follow them, and I see my vortex, and I know what's happening now because I have the conscious awareness, like,
yeah.
Oh, it's my vortex, and
yeah.
And I'm wanting to understand how I more specifically, when I decide that I have a goal or a tangible, like I want to create this end result. And that's where I seem to get a little stuck in creating it.
Feel the tension in that. I want to create this end result, which is as if to say, now is irrelevant. The end result is what I want, and meanwhile, I'm in vibrational limbo, which is not true.
Yes.
A better intention is, I want to feel joyful in the unfolding of this, whatever it is. I want to savor it. I want to get all the juice out of it. There are some things that you enjoy doing that you don't really want to rush to the end of. Do you know what we mean? We're talking specifically about eating an ice cream cone. And so, what's the rush? If there's pleasure in the moment, what's the rush? What's the rush? And you all are not very good savorers, except for a subject or two. You are so eager to get to the end result that you introduce unnecessary angst as you're trying to get there too fast. Esther remembers as she was a little girl living in a little town, and she didn't have a bicycle, and she walked most everywhere, and there was no place that was very far, but sometimes she would be in a hurry and she just couldn't make her little body move fast enough to where she wanted to be, and she felt this sort of urgency between wanting to close the gap between where she was and where she wanted to be. And it took a long time for her to start enjoying the journey and enjoying the path and singing a song and enjoying where she was. And the thing that makes you all not very good savorers along your way is that you create unnecessary time crunches for yourself. You have a time shortage consciousness or a money shortage consciousness sometimes that makes you in a hurry to get over there. But we want you to try to soothe those things and realize that there's no shortage of time. It just feels that way when you're not utilizing the awesome power of non-resistant thought. There's such leverage in alignment and such lack of leverage in lack of alignment, and you all get impatient because you're in lack of alignment and trying to use your action to fix what can only be fixed through alignment. That was a lot, wasn't it? And so once you get out ahead of this and you care mostly about how you feel, and we know you do, and then you become a more deliberate savorer, where you're not in such a hurry to be someplace better than where you are or improved over where you are, but instead your appreciation is about the desire that is calling you forward, and you've practiced the ease in that, because desire that's calling you feels so delicious unless you think you don't have time. Desire that's calling you feels so delicious unless somebody else is telling you shouldn't go there and you're believing them. Desire that's calling you feels so wonderful unless you've got your own stick in your own spoke and aren't letting yourself move in the direction of that. It really is that way.
So can you give me a specific intangible to do with my thoughts in those times? Like when I'm going to get really specific, like I'm a teacher. I teach spiritual principles, and I teach on sex and relationships using a lot of this energy stuff. And so I'll be like launching a specific program, and I'll have an end result in mind of like, I want to have this many students in my program, and I want to make this amount of income. And how do I hold that desire, like the desire for that outcome, and still be in that flow, enjoying the savoring and the pleasure? without getting all crunchy about it.
What happens, and this is an important conversation to have with deliberate creators. Deliberate creators who have come through a sort of mindset of goal setting and things like that. The thing about setting a specific goal is that it's like you have this stick called X a number of dollars that I want or need or expect. And when you pick up the stick is already predisposed to be active on one end or the other. So if your stick is already predisposed to be active on the not enough end of the stick, then every time you set a goal about that, you just activate where you are. Did you get that?
So could it be more effective to kind of let go of the end result altogether and play with that?
It's helpful when you know that money's the bugaboo to leave money out of the equation for a while and think about the fun you're having and the evolution of your program. Jerry said to Esther on several occasions as they were moving along, so it's the money you care about? Esther said one day when she was being harassed, not really, felt like it, by a publisher, not really, felt like it, to get something done. And she said to Jerry, you know, we put thousands of hours into one of these, and do you see how much money comes from it? And Jerry said, so you're doing it for the money now, huh? And she wasn't. It just got kind of out of balance in this comparison. It was just her defensiveness because they wanted her to do something she didn't feel like doing. And so she was just making up stuff in order to justify where she stood. But if you take money out of the equation, everything smooths out. But we do have a remedy for you. So you feel like you're up to speed with this question? So if you've been listening to us for a while, we've been talking about the stick. On one end of it is wanted, and on the other end of it is the absence. And whenever a subject is activated, you can tell by the way you feel what your proclivity is, which end of the stick is your default go-to, just meaning what you expect, just meaning how you usually think about that. And often how you usually think about something is not helpful. And yet law of attraction perpetuates how you think about it. So what do? This continuum of life, my mother felt that way and I feel this way, and therefore law of attraction brought me evidence that compounds my thinking this way, and now Abraham, you just want me to think another way? Yeah, pretty much. Well, how do I do that? Well, you have to find some way of detaching from your usual vibrational point of attraction about something. So here's a stick, and it's got money on one end of it and not enough money on the other end of it. And now we're putting that stick in a whole pile of sticks. And there's different subjects on these sticks. Some are relationships, some are the way you feel in your physical body, some are relationships that you have with this one or this one or this one or this one. So let's say you've got this bundle of sticks, and one particular stick on this end of it, it's so obvious that the wanted end of the stick is the active one, and the not wanted of the stick is not even in your vibration. So you could focus on that stick often, so that that stick's the reason that you set your vibrational tone, and then all your sticks could be improved. That's what we mean by taking money out of the equation. Focused upon your help to mankind. Focus upon the thrill you have when a new idea occurs to you and you see that it comes across in a meaningful way and somebody gets something that they hadn't gotten before. As you focus on that, there's no lack in that vibration. There's no other end of the stick in that vibration. So as you stay in the aligned end of the pile, everything else just takes care of itself. Haven't you known of yourself or someone else? Have you ever had a normal life where there's a bunch of stuff going wrong and some stuff going right, and you fall in love with somebody and suddenly everything starts going right because you're giving all of your attention to the only thing that matters to you, and which is causing you alignment, and then other things just start to take care of themselves? It's like that. So you like the piles of sticks? Now we're going to give you a new way of looking at it. So now pick up the stick that says money. Now you've evolved a little, you're feeling better about it. And so now, instead of the label being in the middle of this stick, let's put money over there on that end of the stick, on the end of the stick that's usually problematic, money. And on the other end of the stick, let's put what really matters, security, freedom, happiness, ease, flow, clarity. Let's make this money stick about something other than money. Let's make it about what money represents, but let's do it generally, because you have so much security in your life, and when you focus upon that, the money part of security improves too. But if you focus on the money which there isn't enough of, or the money which didn't turn out the way you wanted it to for this event, see what we're getting at?
Yeah. Thank you. It's really, really helpful. And I realized that I used to think like that before humans like conditioned a lot. I used to kind of operate intuitively in that way before I was so humanized.
Before you got humanized, or before you became socialized, before it became so important to you, you're born sort of selfish, and then you're taught that you should really care about other people. And we're not teaching you not to care about other people. We're just asking you to care about your connection before you even consider other people. Because if you don't take time to care about your connection, you don't have anything to give them anyway. And so connection first. So that's what we mean by getting out ahead of it. But you point out something really important. Life keeps coming, because law of attraction never turns off. So you have a result of something that you've got vibrationally going on, and maybe you didn't even know you had it vibrationally going on until it happened, till this thing manifested. But now you know, so now you want to fix it. Well, what were we saying about that? You can't fix a problem, the problem just becomes more. So you got to get on the other end of that stick. On the absence of money, don't put money on the other end of the stick, because they're too related. And when you think you're thinking about money, you're thinking about not enough money. It's just the way it goes. When you think you're thinking about a relationship, but what you're really thinking about is the relationship you don't have yet. So put money on one of the stick, and all the abundance that you live on the other. The sun comes up, the sun keeps shining, the water keeps flowing, the plants keep growing. I can get food wherever I want, whenever I want. Abundance, 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 so much abundance, so much well-being, abundance of clarity, and abundance, 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 abundance. And as you focus in that general way, then you change that stick for you. You change it. You change it. And if each time it comes up, you take that opportunity to change it again, before you know, the evidence of it comes. But this is something that we're just going to say right out loud. If you haven't cleaned up your vibration, things are going to keep happening the way they have been happening. And since you have both positive and negative expectations, some things in your world are going the way you want them to, and some things in your world are not going the way you want them to. But for the most part, it's happening and you're responding, so it happens, so you respond, so it happens, so you respond, so it happens, so you respond, so it happens, so you respond. You got to get out ahead of that. You've got to stop being a reactor to what's happening. You got to get out of it and do something about your vibration that then causes a reaction. You see what we're getting at? You got to pay attention to what you're doing, because on some subjects that you have such a habit of reacting to, you know those people that every time you're with them, they pick a fight, or you do? It's just always the way that it goes. You know, walking in, that's what's going to happen, because that's always what happens. You could get out ahead of that. You could activate within yourself things that aren't easy to find in them. You could activate in yourself things that you love about them that they don't often demonstrate. You could change. You could get out ahead of that. You can get out ahead of everything. And what do we mean by get out ahead of it? Join your inner being in what your inner being knows about specifically that. And stop holding to your own belief and your own practice thoughts when your inner being has long ago moved on.